Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 242. If you are writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you're having trouble finishing the book you started at some point, or maybe you need help reaching more readers to let them know about your book, you are in the right place. Good morning and happy Monday. I am your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., I-N-K, Christine-Inc.com. Each day I share with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have learned that 3 things in particular have a big impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn someone who doesn't necessarily even see themselves as a writer into a published author. Those 3 things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. Here's today's quote. "A great fire burns within me, but no one stops to warm themselves at it, and passers-by only see a wisp of smoke." Vincent van Gogh. Now, this is the time of year when many of us are setting our 2020 goals, whether personal, business, or writing and author and book goals. But what I want to talk about today and tomorrow, so episodes number 242 and 243, Monday, December 9th, and Tuesday, December 10th, if you're looking this up after the fact, is the fuel behind those goals. I want to talk about your why behind writing your book. And yes, we've talked about this before. I realize we've talked about your why. But really, can you connect with your reason for becoming an author too often or too deeply? Can you talk about your why too much? The answer is no, you cannot. So here's a few examples of book writing whys from some of my authors. So, the reason that got them to write a book in the first place, and in many cases, the reason that helped them power through to the finish line when they were struggling along the way. There was one that's his reason was to leave a legacy and also show people through his example that anything is possible if you know how to shift the narrative of your life away from that which you do not want. Another author, her why was to solve stress so others don't have to go through the physical and mental offshoots of stress that she endured for years that nearly killed her. So now she wants to create a stress-free world, and that's why she wrote her book. Another author why, to write a family quilt of sorts, and within that, an empowering love letter to her young daughter. Another why, an author wrote a book to honor her son's memory and tell his story. Another why, to let people know the joy and successes that come from living life on all cylinders and why it's more urgent than ever to do so. Another author why, the final one, to get that damn story and characters out of her head and onto the page because they won't leave her alone. Clearly, these characters have something to say. And that last one is my own why for my novel, Canyon Road, that took years and years and years. I mean, I first wrote a draft of the screenplay for that in 1999, and I published it in 2016. Talk about what I said at the top of the broadcast, a book that you want to get done, finally. So those characters would not leave me alone. So my why was to get them out of my head and onto paper. So it can be as simple as that. Pick a why that works for you. So why am I so obsessed with it? Why is it so important that you know your why? Because, as many of you have undoubtedly figured out by now, writing a book is a long, hard process. That's why, of all the people who at some point have tossed around the idea of writing a book and maybe even taken a few half-hearted stabs at it, a much smaller percentage will ever become published authors. I'm talking about people who want to write, finish, and publish a book, but for whatever reason, do not ever do so. The reason for many of those aspiring authors is that writing a book is much harder than they anticipated, so they quit. In my experience, having a strong, personal, and clear why helps to defend against the urge to quit. It's the cable that ties you to the beating heart of your book. It's the safety net under your high wire. It's the bat phone when you need to call on your inner superhero to get through, whatever metaphor works for you to describe how closely your why connects to your book project. Remember why you started and what you hope to accomplish with your published book, and that will help you reach the finish line. It will bring you back to your unfinished manuscript over and over, even for years. Trust me, I know. Over and over again until it's finally done, no matter how long it takes. That why will keep bringing you back. So tune in tomorrow, and I'm actually going to give you 7 journaling questions little bit of a different angle on these questions that you might not have heard before, that look at the subject of why and help you really connect with that. So that will be in tomorrow's episode. That will be episode 243 to get the questions that go along with today's broadcast. And thank you for joining me here on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I'm helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. Be sure and drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're in both places. Really, really super awesome authors there, very supportive. So just pop in there and let us know what you need. Let us know how we can support you. I do allow people to advertise their books there, by the way. It's nice if we get to know you first, but I do allow people because I really want to support authors however I can. So Inc. Authors on Facebook as well as LinkedIn. Just depends on which social media network is your preference. We exist in both places. And if you know someone else who wants to write an awesome book, please let them know about Your Daily Writing Habit. I would appreciate it. Until tomorrow, happy writing.